Hello guys, welcome to a video where I rant about my random thoughts before I go to sleep. Sometimes it's really difficult for me to fall asleep. Today is definitely one of those days. And what I usually do on nights like this would be listening to talking videos on YouTube. The videos that don't have too crazy visuals. Well, today I guess I will be the one talking. No crazy visuals, it's just my voice you can listen to. Maybe you can listen to this video when you can't fall asleep. Or anytime you want company, but you want to keep your eyes on something else besides your phone screen. So something that's been bothering me recently is my expectations. I've always been the kind of person that sets their goal or expectations a little too high, and although I have encouraged myself to do that because I end up doing better, sometimes it completely backfires and I'm in a situation where I just don't know what to do. So first off, expectations when it comes to work. I've made plenty of videos in the past about balancing what you love to do and what you have to do, and I think I'm pretty good at that now. You just need to make time for your passion. I think that's all what it needs. But what I've been neglecting is balancing what I love to do and resting, is because a lot of the time when I work on passion projects, what I usually do is just take up my resting or self-care time. So I end up not being able to make time for myself. And at first, I thought that was totally fine because, I'm not going to do much anyways. I might as well be productive when I'm not doing work. But then, as I'm getting older, I realize that I need that time for myself. Sometimes it's okay to do nothing, not in a way of not being procrastinating, because that's a different subject, but when you need rest, you need to rest. You shouldn't be overworking yourself. I strongly believe that if you do more, then you can always do better, but you also need to remember that when it hits a certain point, that you hit your maximum level of work, it's not going to get any efficient. That's why people say study smart, not study like too much, because just because you study for hours and hours, it's not going to guarantee you to get smarter or score higher on your score or whatever your goal is. You need the rest in order for your brain to actually process the information that you've been studying. And because you don't see what's happening inside your brain, you don't see the level of your energy of where you at, you just tend to just keep on working and pushing yourself. And I have the habit of pushing myself even when I know that I should stop. And it's all because I have these expectations. Like, if I do this, if I do 1 hour more of this, if I just sacrifice 1 hour of my sleep time, I could do so much more work. I could do so much better. And I've realized I should stop doing that. And it could be one of the reasons that I'm still awake right now and not being able to go to sleep, because I just lack the ability to balance things. And I think it's the same. It's a lesson that I learned through doing 12 Days of Christmas, because obviously my videos, they were not pre-recorded. I filmed them daily and edited them daily and uploaded them. And even though it's only day 8, there has been situations where I was too tired, but I just had to squeeze in my schedule. I had to just sleep less in order to make a video for the day. And I realized, well, that's not too healthy for me, is it? And the only reason that I started it in the first place was because I had this expectation of what it would be like after the work. Okay, I wasn't really thinking about the process. I was thinking, oh, by the time Christmas comes, I'm gonna have 12 videos up. Wow, that's so cool. I want that. And so I started it. But then what I didn't plan out was how I would be feeling for those 12 days where I'm gonna be working so hard, because I have other stuff to do and I have other places to be, but I'm sacrificing my time that I have for rest to make videos. And so I realized I mean, I think it's a good thing that I've started this, and I'm very proud of what I'm working on right now, but I definitely should have thought this through a lot more. Second thing I want to talk about is expectations towards relationships. And when I say relationships, it's not just with a potential romantic partner, it's also with any human being on this planet, honestly, any interaction that you have. You can never really know what's going on inside another person's head. Sometimes I don't even know what's going inside my head. And it's really easy to make assumptions because you really don't know. So, based on signals, based on signs, quote unquote signs, you try to figure out those person's intentions, where those person's at, and sometimes your interpretations can be wrong. I know it's really hard to admit that because I want to be like, oh, I know this person so well, just based on their actions and what they say, but you never really know unless they really open up. And I think those false accusations is what causes a lot of miscommunication and inaccurate expectations. This problem, having the wrong expectations towards another person, I know is something that I'm struggling with, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to ever fix it because I'm going to be meeting even more people in the future. And even with the current relationships I have, they're probably going to go somewhere, whether we get closer or we just drift apart. And every interaction that I have, well, I may end up having the wrong expectations towards them, and that could end up hurting my feelings. And I have always been a people pleaser, and so usually when someone else wants something and I want to do that something, then I would go out, well, not necessarily go out of the way, but if I wanted to impress, I would do things that other people wanted me to do or thought that they would want me to do. And now that I think back, the only person that has been stressing over the situation too much was just me, myself. And so if I was a bit more honest to myself and to others, then it would have saved me a lot more time and energy. Sometimes when someone doesn't meet up to my expectations, maybe I wanted them to do something and they don't do it, I just end up being really mad. But then the other person, well, sometimes they don't even know what they did wrong because they don't have those standards to themselves. They're not like, oh, I should do something, like someone is expecting me to do something, and get so mad, so upset over something so tiny. And so, what I've been trying to do recently is to be more understanding, definitely, compared to the past. I understand circumstances a lot more than I did a few years ago or even like a couple months ago. So I try to understand their situation and how and why I set my expectations or standards to that person, because I shouldn't be expecting anything from anyone, because putting myself in their shoes, I don't think I'd ever be able to meet up to someone's expectations and just live like that. Third and last, expectations towards myself. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens is a book that I read senior year of high school. And I remember that book spoke to me a lot. I know in that title, expectations is a bit different from what we're talking about right now. It's more about the money that the main character inherited. No spoilers. You should really read this book. If you haven't, I highly recommend. But anyways, the protagonist in the book keeps having these false expectations towards another female character that he falls in love with. because he's picking up the wrong signals and he's interpreting things all by himself without actual evidence. And although this could fit into my second category of relationships, I think it also has to do with the expectations you have for yourself. It also reminds me of Mirror of Erised from Harry Potter. Mirror of Erised. So Erised is desire spelled backwards. And if you look at yourself in the mirror, you see yourself accomplishing all the desires that you have. Harry Potter, who was orphaned at a very young age, sees his parents. Ron, who wanted to be popular, sees himself as, I think, I have to fact check this, but I think he was holding the Quidditch Cup and he was the house prefect or something like that. And although this mirror does not exist in our reality, I think we always place ourselves in front of the mirror and see, oh, what would it be like for me to have blah, 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 or have accomplished this and that. I have friends that struggle because they try to live up to their parents. They want their parents to be proud, so that's what motivates them to study or work or whatever. And although at first it seems like, oh, your parents are so strict, why can't they be more chill? Well, I personally think the only reason they say that is just because they have their own expectations of themselves. They just don't know it, so they just say that it's because of their parents. Well, although there are sometimes really strict parents, but that's another story. So, and even me myself, I've tried to live up to my parents. And at first I said, well, my parents want me to do this, so at least I should pay them a bit of respect by trying my best and attempting. But then later on, I realized I was actually just being so selfish and doing everything for myself. I just wanted validation. I had expectations for myself to be to earn the respect from my parents and to validate myself. So in the core, it wasn't really about anyone else, my parents, my friends, whatever. It was just me. It was just me that was pushing me these unrealistic expectations. And when reality hits you hard, no one can really take it easy. I mean, even myself, when things don't come out as expected, I just blame myself and I feel sad and depressed and I don't know what to do. And I start overthinking and I can't go back to sleep. So that wraps my random thoughts at 2 a.m. Maybe you guys are already asleep by now. I hope so. Thank you guys so much for following me. It'll be very nice if you could comment and let me know whether you liked this video type or not. Maybe I'll come back with more of these random thoughts at 2 a.m. Thank you. Bye. Have a wonderful day.